You turn the mics off.
Go on.
Hello.
Sorry, lad.
Right, lad.
Alright, lad.
I'm going to read a poem. We've had too much poetry tonight.
No, not too
Not
much.
enough.
Not enough, yeah.
Me, Jordan, Zach have just come back from, we travelled Europe. So I made a poem about every major incident that happened and stuff, so it's sort of it's a poem about what happened, uncensored. Yeah, just no, I was just sat there, I was some wave of inspiration, I just wrote like a big poem. No, I wrote it because we were travelling a lot. I was in the car, so I was just writing it when we were travelling in the car between cities. So when we'd have a night out, I'd write the next day the poem about the night out. So
It's one way to cure a hangover.
no, it was either that or sleeping. So right, we'll start in Dover, as everyone does.
And we start with Dr. Snuggles.
No. We have to use a stand.
Who isn't got a Dr. Snuggles?
Well, actually, I'm reading a poem, man. This is deep. I know my main audience is my mum. Things never change.
Your mum's going to be happy.
Yeah. Worst enemy soon when you find out what I did. Seriously. Europe was bananas. Okay. Alright, we're starting to do it. It's all quite a sketch term. The port of call was Dover, a place seen better times, where all the chalky white we saw was mashed up into lines, and the cool sea breeze we felt it smelt of sweat and STIs. So in good haste we sailed away from a town of bloodshot eyes, to a first night spent in Europe, destination Bruges, a place of perfect sights and smells of beer and wine and food. We yearned to dine al fresco, but the prices were too keen, so our posh night out was by the canal with a tin of Heinz baked beans. And to local delight we spent the night parked up in a well-lit street. Suffice to say we didn't get much sleep. The very next day we made our way to the capital of Brussels, an absolutely crazy place that's very difficult to rhyme with. We were quite lost. We set up stop in an empty cafe corner shop and watched the street in disbelief as hordes of hookers swarmed as far as our eyes could see. And fair play, they were pretty cheap. But in the night we came alive and I was on the pull, with dancing moves that were so smooth, inspired by as smooth as wire wool. There we go. Set my sights on an older lady, and like a snake I slithered, right behind her up to grind her, dancing dirty with her. Had a squeeze, I was quite pleased with the barrier I broke, when suddenly Zach said to me, "You realise that's a bloke?" Honestly, that was grim. That's a cock block to a new level, because he literally cocked blocked me. Into Germany now. Now we stayed in several German towns, but I don't remember names, because Germany is massive and I was off my face. So onwards to the Alps, the most enchanted place, where giant mountains loom above the shimmering sapphire of glimmering lakes, where ancient valleys speak of time with raging waterfalls. But it was overcast when we drove past, so we didn't see fuck all. Nuremberg was on the cards, the most beautiful of cities, an old town hall and castle walls and hordes of German fitties. But when the darkness of the night devoured the cobbled streets, the city changed into a major prostitute's retreat. A red light district stretched along the city's ancient walls, half a mile of semi-naked... I'll say that again. A red light district stretched along the city's ancient walls, half a mile of semi-naked ghetto booty whores. They all quite had impressive boobs, but their faces weren't too nice, so we all agreed to disapprove and only walk through twice. With prostitutes fresh in our minds, we headed further east, Czech Republic calling. We drove through gritted teeth. With the only speeding car that passed was of the state police, make double sure you lock the doors when you park up in the street. We spent the night in Prague, but we never saw the centre, because we found a bar that was bizarre but infinitely better, full of Czech men watching us with battle-hardened metal, and girls with pretty faces but with battle-hardened genitals. And everybody trying to sell us illegal chemicals. The place was pretty scary, but the music there was mental. So George was chatting to a girl with a cold sore on her face, and me and Zach were going whack to dirty drum and bass. Everybody off their heads in a different land. Everybody skanking even though they couldn't stand. Looking back, a night like that could never have been planned. Prague was the best night, that was quality. To Berlin, the German capital, and we had the complete tour. Ventured into every crevice, we saw it, warts and all. We dined in Alexanderplatz, we climbed the Berlin Wall. We saw a sky-high telephone mast with a giant glitter ball. We saw a tramp drink Jaeger neat, and we watched the fucker fall. And when the evening drifted in, we got fucked up and all. Zach pulled the girl and rocked her world in an 8-bed hostel dorm. Her friend asleep in the bunk above, but Zach was in good form. And at 10 AM, a drunken kid tried to punch me in the face. Berlin, we really love you, but you're such a fucked up place. So in good mood, we made a move to our final destination, an epic grand finale. Amsterdam was waiting. You're not gonna like this, man. I'm not gonna like this either. Straight away we knew the way to where we'd spend our night. Lost in a foreign city, just follow the red light. I skipped a page there, it's getting me. 50 euros got us seats in a live sex on-stage show. And I have to say, this thing has changed everything I've ever known. Everybody getting at it right up in my face. One lady smoked a whole cigar with the most peculiar place. A lady even came off stage in search of volunteers. And in my absent-minded state, I offered without fear. She took my hand in a sexy dance, I had such awful moves. What happened in the events that ensued completely changed the mood. She got a banana, peeled the skin and put it in her vagina, and ordered me to take a bite with one end still inside her. So there we go. So there we go, I've eaten fruit from a stripper lady's fanny. Not sure if I'm proud of it, but at least she wasn't a tranny. So that, my friends, is where we end our time spent on the road. I'm writing this in a service station some 100 miles from her after. Sorry, just trauma from that bit. I'm writing this in a service station some 100 miles from home. Our hair has gone all wiry and our beards have overgrown. We're wearing the same clothes that we had worn 2 weeks ago. Ooh. We're dirty and we're greasy and we're aching to the bone. We've used all our deodorant, so we're reeking of BO. But when we see the sweeping hills that tell us that we're home, there is a single truth that we will know. That Europe's full of prostitutes and hoes. That's it.